I mean, it's just little small things that we need to work on, and I think it'll be a better environment for all. That's my little 2 cents on that.
And sometimes we need to go out the box and not continue. And I mean, guess what? The platform for Junkanoo has already been set, just like any game. The fundamentals is there. Now you build on it. My thing is, go outside the box. Think like there's no box. Use people. There's some people in Junkanoo who have great ideas, great minds, and who can make things happen. But when you look at it, for years, it's been the same set of people all the time. And like you say, what are we looking forward to? The same thing, the same set of people to get on Bay Street free, to bring the family free, get free tickets. No, man. We are Junkanoo. The people is Junkanoo. Think about us now. Think of how better we can do it.
I can speak to that, Clarice, because I just told Bobas night before last, I was going through some videos. And the think tank, several years ago, we had a meeting at Doris Johnson High School. And the same things we were talking about the other night, we were still talking about the same things, the exact same things. And that's like 5 years ago. We ain't moving. What are we doing?
Exactly.
Like we just keep repeating itself, the same set of people, even the same set of persons who try to propel this thing forward. Everybody want to knock them down. If they come, if it has some truth or some to move it further, everybody seems to stagnate it. Everybody like to say, okay, let's do this, let's do that. Just talks, and then when it comes to the persons up front to move it, nobody want to extend their hand. And that's why Carnival could make it and we can't make it.
Okay, so how could they could come and have a nice platform, come together. They already formed their own board. They have their own representative. They know exactly what each group is doing. They know how to, you understand, just like how paparazzi say, come together. Where is the togetherness?
Bobas.
The problem partially with Junkanoo is us. We become
rivals at everything.
Everybody's tired of hearing the same thing. The competition aspect of Junkanoo is actually hurting Junkanoo right now. It's coming back to bite us. We are so concerned about trying to win a prize that's only worth 10% of what we put into this. And at the end of the day, what you get? Bragging rights, a little halfway float, nothing afterwards. What are we really doing this for? You know, some people say we're doing it for the culture. Some people say we do it for the passion. Some people say we do it for myself. People have all many different reasons why we do Junkanoo. But at the end of the day, Junkanoo is suffering because we were trying to win a little 2-point prize for 10,000 or 10 million, like how sad to say $10 million parade. It don't add up at the end of the day.
If we really look at it,
bets than what the Junkanoo paying the people in Rush.
Pardon me?
People making more of a bet on Junkanoo than what the Junkanoo is making from Junkanoo.
Junkanoos don't make no money, Sha, man. The average Junkanoo is spending between $500 and $1,500 on a parade, per parade, some cases. They ain't making no money. What money? Ain't no money. At least not for the individual who actually participating in making the actual wheels of Junkanoo turn. Ain't no money involved for them.
And the thing about it is they're sacrificing so much. So many people have lost family, loved ones, and everything else because of Junkanoo. What do you get? One little rush? One little read or whatever? Come on, man. It has to be more than what we put in.
Well, but speak to some of the things that me and you spoke about, the way forward.
All right. I always been taught to listen before I speak, and the conversation is already start off on the right direction. And all of us share some of the same concerns because Junkanoo is our passion, we love it. And all of us are going to be saying the same thing throughout this entire conversation, and that's the way forward. But there are some elements that we have to always take in consideration when we're looking at moving forward. In my entire Junkanoo career, which is probably less than everybody on this feed, I can tell you no word of lie. What we are doing, what we did then and what we're doing now, the world is changing around us, and we still, in some areas in the Junkanoo arena, remain stagnant for whatever multiple reasons why. We are in a season now where the unthinkable, the unfortunate, and the unbelievable is occurring right now, and that is an entire global shutdown because of a pandemic. The unforeseen enemy, I call it. We used to wars with big guns and tanks and this country against that country, but we're fighting something that doesn't have a gun, doesn't have those conventional warfare equipment. So with saying that, we have to find ourselves in a position where we have all the pieces, we have all the pieces, we have all the information, all the data. Now we have to now stop beating a dead horse. What's already happened and the mentality is already set. The good thing about this crisis is, and I like to say, we cannot afford to let this good crisis go to waste. How are we now going to move Junkanoo forward, right? How are we going to move Junkanoo forward now? Because the world is at a position of a reset. Okay, so what are we going to do now moving forward? It's pointless talking about what used to happen yesterday and all that stuff. How are we going to move it forward, taking into consideration the more important components to the whole engine? All right. There is now this pandemic. When we get through this, what are we going to do? And this is my stance. This is my stance as it relates to the way forward, even as early as when we get out of this pandemic, if it's enough time to salvage or save some parts of the Junkanoo season, right? We have to look at it this way. We have to be sensitive, we have to be understanding, and we have to be safe. First of all, safe first, safety first. Nobody knows, nobody has a 411 on how this thing could really be in the next few months. We know how it is carrying on now by its behavior, the spread, and the social distancing is being helping to a certain degree with helping to minimize or slow down the spread, right? So we have to be that mature organization within our community. I mean, community within our country. Okay, so my stance is on, even with the season coming up before us, I think we should cancel the season. That's the 2009, 2020, 2021 Boxing New Year's Day Junkanoo Parade. And we can use this time to do meaningful stuff like having these meaningful discussions about the way forward. All of us are singing the same song. What we have to understand too, with the JCMP only manages and operates that of the two major parades. Even though the JCMP has its influences in certain other off parades, their only mandate is the two major parades, right? We continue to look to this entity to solve our mounting of issues and problems, but we haven't done what we need to do as a Junkanoo community. We talk about organizing and everybody coming together. And in my experience, representing the Valley Boys on the JCMP level, I'll be quite honest with you, and I don't care about being persecuted for it, because right is right. I've been in those meetings for the last 2 years, right? Some good decisions and policies are being made every day. I'll tell you, it looks good. If it could be executed the way it should be executed, I can guarantee you Junkanoo will move smoothly as relates to those major parades. But at the end of the day, all of us have our individualistic preferences and groups. There's no way to say, you can say you're going to be fair, but if you belong to a group, it's very difficult to not be biased. Not saying that no one does malicious stuff, right? But we have to, if we're serious about moving forward with Junkanoo from an economical standpoint of view, then we have to look at the entire framework. And this is why I think, in my opinion, that a Junkanoo Commission is very most important to deal with everything Junkanoo, not just the two major parades, because Junkanoo is just not limited anymore to Boxing Day and New Year's Day. Junkanoo is a lifestyle for everybody, but a lot of people would depend on it. We are failing our people because we are not making sure that our people are benefiting the best way they could. Maybe some people are, but our people who should be benefiting are not benefiting from this thing that we love, this thing that we appreciate. So I'll just pause right there and then let the conversation flow. But my mom always told me, and I said it earlier when we started
Listen
this,
before you speak.
listen before you speak, and also love don't pay no bills.
Right.
You cannot take love to the bank and say, come to pay my mortgage.
Then, listen, you came up with Boobas, that's what you call yourself?
That's what I
So
name,
nice to meet you. That's it. Listen, you came up with some great ideas. Listen.
Time you ever meet Boobas?
Yeah, this is what I want to say. You hit the nail right on the head. And one of my things that I said, and I said this a long time, my sister and I always sit down and talk. I say, you know, we really need to have, I call it a, you know, like how they'll have the NIB board or whatever, but you call it a commission, where there is an identity, a group of identified people or whatever. If you want to switch them every time, the government change, whatever, we can do that or whatever, however they do it. Mm-hmm. My thing is, and I always say to her, there are only two things in this Bahamas that draws a crowd or that would get the crowd in motion: election or Junkanoo. So why can't we embrace on that, like you say, and do that commission? Right. Okay? Other Junkanoos putting these things in place and not, like you say, not just speaking it. Okay? Yeah. We need to start, like you say, put it in some action into this. We can't just say it and not let it happen. My thing is, I have a contingency plan already. I'm going to present it, not just talk it. I'm going to present it to the JCNP, who will then, I guess, will forward it around to all of the groups. This is not just for the A groups. This is for the B, C, whatever, in order to maintain that standard straight around. And this is what we need to always do. We can't just always think that the A group is Junkanoo. No, we have the B, we have the C, and all those who take part in it. Okay? First and foremost, before we do all of this, we have to condition the mind of people. Like you say, it's always just a competition, or someone said earlier, our mind is just a competition, but it's more than that. We have put in a lot of time to make Junkanoo what it is. I don't care how much I rush. I go and I find tickets. But I don't want no ticket. I call around and ask someone because I don't really rush no more. You all know I could buy some tickets from because guess what? I know whatever I pump in goes to help whatever going on to make sure that Junkanoo stays in place and continue going. You understand what I'm saying? But my thing is, we're not thinking on that level. We just, okay, I said one family, I said Saxon, I said Valley. I said, no, we are more than that. That's what I say. I look at Carnival. Carnival is in its 5th year. And what I see, based on what they send on the information to say Carnival has been postponed, they are together.
They have a commission.
They have a commission. That's what I'm saying. They are on one level and they make it happen, you know.
It's a business.
The former government only put the platform there for them to, but you know, they take it and they run with the ball.
Exactly.
They run with the ball. Whether we like it or not, those people are making monies. But they have their policies and procedures in place.
Of 500, even if you use
I can interject there for a minute.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Dino.
Can I interject for a minute?
Go ahead.
You know, the majority of people on the Carnival board or whatever it is, they Junkanoo.
That's right.
So that we know.
We know that.
So
if they doing that, so if that's taking place, if they could do that within Carnival, what's the problem with Junkanoo?
The mindset.
No, there are some philosophical differences because
exactly.
Some people in the Junkanoo hierarchy doesn't support Carnival. So that's kind of iffy. So a lot of the powers that be, I'll say, are kind of torn to a certain degree. They are. It's just some philosophical differences.
That's all.
I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about
shouldn't differentiate.
I'm not talking about the people in the hierarchy supporting the rule.
No, this is what I'm saying. The people, some of the persons.
Go ahead, Papa. Go ahead, Papa.
Okay, go ahead.
What I was gonna say is the model has been in place well before Carnival came to the Bahamas. You know. We as Junkanooers chose to go the route, like I would say, how the original Brazil Carnival people do it. They feel like they do on the road and they're purists, whatever the case may be. And then came along, like you said, a Carnival commission in Brazil, and they decided to carry it to another level, and they built an actual arena for Carnival. That's where Brazil Carnival really went to the next level. But here's the thing but speaking about the JCNP and the National Junkanoo Committee, whatever you call them, I feel as if we have one body to run Junkanoo, I think we'd be better off. Because right now you got this entity running this entity running that, and then none of them working together. Understand what I'm saying? And the only persons who's suffering at the end of the day is Junkanoo. The commission is the right way to go. And if you got to bring these people into the fold, bring them into the fold. But then them old entities they used to run, they got to go because they ain't making no sense.
Yeah, agreed.
You got Peter and Paul over here running the Family Island, and you got Jane running Nassau. You know what I mean? Ain't no continuity there.
No.
Well, just to interject here, Paco, you said you mentioned the word, and this is what I wanted to put in there. Is the word Junkanoos or Junkanooers?
Both.
Okay, because I posted something yesterday and I saw someone that they ain't no Junkanoo. They is a Junkanoo.
Well, listen.
It's actually both. It
is up to the individual. Some people like to call themselves Junkanoo. Some people like to call themselves Junkanooers. Both are no difference.
Because when I first think tank, I used to say Junkanooers with an S on the end. But it was brought to my attention that was incorrect.
That's what I say.
Junkanooers with an S.
Yeah, so some people say Junkanooers, which is the word Junkanoo with just the S to the end.
Yes, yeah, and some put ERS.
Arlene uses Junkanooers. A lot of people use Junkanooers.
Right.
Yeah.
Junkanooers is our own word. I can go with Junkanooers.
Okay, because so the each is on. That's the main thing. The each is on.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's just clarify that because somebody was torn to pieces of something that I post and I said, who is this Junkanoo? And the post came back on somebody else, man, I ain't no Junkanoo.
They were living?
Well, see, I just read I just read everything. I just don't say much things sometimes because I don't like to run on and waste my breath. But sometimes when you're talking to some Junkanoos, they just put on a costume.
Whichever language.
Like 10
whichever one.
Hello?
Whichever one you prefer to be called.
Whichever one you use is fine in my book.
Yeah, it's fine in my book.
Thanks, Timothy. Timothy said his current went off. So before we go any further, I wanted to just say.
Which part of the island anyways? Because I know they probably
Ryland,
just.
Ryland.
Oh, you always have them frequently about 3-4 times a day.
We fixed our problem.
Yeah, good stuff.
Okay, the question was, right, from earlier, we talked about having, the minister said that Junkanoo we're going to have in February. Now, I said cancel 21 Junkanoo. Let the side parades start from June when we start Labor Day and then lead up into the beginning of the 21, 22. That's my concept on that because I feel right now Junkanoo is held, and I still a little bit skeptical about that because this virus seems to thrive on cold weather. Now in Nassau, we don't have much cold weather.
Hey, listen.
But we have a flu season.
Think of this season because you have to regard safety. Safety is always top priority, particularly something like this. Now let me make this very quick and clear, right? Think of this as a Junkanoo vacation, right?
Right.
Spend time with your family, eat some ham and turkey around Thanksgiving and Christmas time. Let me tell you something. Cherie said, Charlize, is it Charlize or Cherie? Sorry, Clarice said something very clear. Why we love Junkanoo? And let's be honest, Junkanoo really tear apart plenty families. Now, because of the time it takes. And let me tell you something. This season right here, we could use this to spend more meaningful time with our families.
Yes.
Right? I can guarantee you, Junkanoos are going to feel more better. They're going to be more equipped and more ready for the next ensuing season, the 2021-22 season, right? And you have to realize something, right? A lot has been taken away. We Junkanoos, we don't always talk about it. I think we need to have a Netflix original so we can make our first 10 million and we can tell our story. But we have to look at it as an opportunity, and let's actually write the narrative that say we're taking a Junkanoo vacation. We're going to spend time with our families with smaller gatherings and make sure all of us maintain the social distancing protocols for the at the time.
I need to interject here. Are we considering canceling the parades because of the pandemic or because of the inability for groups to get to the road?
No.
Well, both, you know, because economically now,
it's
don't forget now, a lot of the major sponsors have been affected and they have a lot of people employed with them.
Not
now,
only
if you really
that,
care about, if you really care about that, go ahead.
Not only that, I
think it's more the pandemic than it is the parades. I mean,
the pandemic is the headline factor in it, right?
Right, no, he said what else?
Yeah.
If you talk about if you can finances, I ain't with you on that. Because 10 years ago,
we're not talking finances. We're not talking finances. Yeah.
All right. 10 years ago, just 10 years ago, which was arguably one of the best parade seasons we've ever had. It's the 2010 season. We were taking 50% less in cash in. That's just on the government level. You go back another 10 years, and we're taking almost 1,000% less in when you talk about total sponsorship of parade from government to private sponsorships. And they were the most competitive parades. Those seasons started in August, September. So what are we running from as Junkanoo?
Okay, let me complete my commentary on that.
I don't see no one running.
We're not. Hold on, Tim. Hold on, Tim. No. Listen. We're not running. And you know what? We need to allow this opportunity coming up, because let me tell you something right now. Truth be told, and I think sometimes all of us have selective memory. We just came out of another season of another black eye for Junkanoo.
Yes,
it's very, very, very clear that we have much in-house work to do, particularly with the flow, not just the flow of the parade as it relates to movement on Bay Street, but the actual logistical part of it as well. Yeah. Listen to me. This fix, that's why I say we can't squander this good crisis. There's a lot of things that needs to be changed and amended. I'm not coming from a better point, because if Ali Boy say we're in a parade, I'd already done with that, right? No, I know Tim. Tim will come up with that. Later on that, I know him.
We get somebody as Junkanoo to talk.
Yeah. Okay.
Financial, not even pandemic wise. Financial, like, how can we do it without the sponsors? We've always done it without the sponsors.
Of course.
Does it without the sponsors.
Right.
Like, you telling me now, these A groups can't get and put their brains together to talk about recycling? Like, that's what we come from. Make Junkanoo.
But I think that's something they're willing to do. I don't see no one opposing it.
We still have to deal with the situation at hand, though. We don't know how long this pandemic's gonna be around.
That's right.
So I mean, we putting the cart before the horse here.
Yeah.
Talking about parades in February, we may still be in the same lockdown every weekend in February.
All other cultural parades around the world is already canceled out. Their 2020 year of festivities.
Well, the thing about it is, as Junkanoo, when we rush, nobody's be 3 feet apart. Nobody.
No.
More than 10 people, and right now in the United States, more than 250.
And we let off a lot of body fluids.
Over 250,000 people have already been infected. Almost 50, they're going up to 40,000 deaths almost. So
and I can tell you,
I was telling the story the other night that one person went to church, connected with some people in the church, like 100 people in the church, went to a restaurant, another 50 people went home to one of our guests, and then she was sick. That one person actually came in contact and infected 5,800 people, 5,800 people. Now calculate that, like we have one group come down Bay Street, or the amount of persons that we have in the group.
I don't ever think we could ever even use whistle for a little while either.
No.
Y'all ever consider that? Yeah, you can't use whistle.
That's the real shower right there.
Yeah, that's right. You can't use whistle no more.
And the whistle is calling.
Hey, boy, you ain't know the whistle is the most important instrument for any Junkanoo.
Of course.
Yeah.
I see we have Hugo and Sean Link joined us. I don't see there. Hugo, I don't see. I don't see so picture. Not
Okay,
on
so
there.
because it's two part, pandemic, I say no. If we go on off of the basis of finances, there's some rules currently in government that needs to be amended. We really need to re-look this lead costume and step down category. When I say re-look at it, and we also need to re-look at group sizes. Because currently the B group has a cap. They can't go over 200 people. In my view, the A group should have a cap where they can't go over a certain amount of people.
Oh, you mean we need to change it from 200 people, you saying?
Yeah, so go from 200 to where your max would be like a 3 or 350. Your max.
Oh.
Not a minimum, you have a minimum, but you also have a max.
Right.
Because sometimes you have groups get up to what I call a max of 500-600 persons. And when a group gets to that size, they're immovable on Bay Street.
Too much.
You don't enjoy the parade, it's not a pretty parade.
That's too much.
So when you get
too much, and that's why plenty
no, it's not.
problems with the groups making the time. And that's another thing I would like to congratulate the Valley boys on.
The time is
best marshals, because obviously the rest of groups they fall in
300 persons.
Now
300 persons to prepare for to get ready for Bay Street is a huge number, and
yeah,
Junkanoo is it's lacking and very limited in builders. 300 persons may seem like it's not a lot, but that's a huge number. Trust me.
It's a lot.
Trust me. Billing wise, it's a lot. It's a lot.
So that's why
I look at the Wally Boys Boxing Day. The Wally Boys.
we looking at
The Wally Boys probably was the largest group Boxing Day. Probably the largest group Boxing Day.
No, that's my roof. Trust me.
How will you switch the passing?
What?
I can't change my hat.
Watch this. When you look at the numbers, when you say a max, whatever the max is, right?
Right.
It now helps groups financially because you know what to prepare for financially. You know what it is to get 200 people to Bay. So you will know, well, all right, I have to bring 250. I know what it is to get 250 people to Bay. You can now on paper.
50 people.
Groups are leaving.
But then it takes the group need to learn how to set the standard and say, we're only going to carry this month or this parade, and then the next 250 the next. So you can't rush on Boxing Day. So you'll do one New Year's. We have to learn that.
Exactly. So those are movements forward for the parade, you know, because we've tried the open air thing with A category groups and it hasn't worked. It has not worked. If
no,
you bring
it hasn't. No.
If you bring under the 250, then that's fine. But you can't drop under 200.
Again, we only looking at the two major parades and then trying to boil it into just what Junkanoo is all about. We talk about the way forward. We still centric on just these two parades. While these two parades will be what would always go on, we have to make opportunities for other parades like that because it's difficult for you to tell a Junkanooer or a Junkanoo who's been parading for over 30 years, he only could go one morning.
But you know, it is not difficult, you know. It all boils right back down to discipline and what you have, your code of ethics in your organization.
Hey man. Listen.
Exactly.
A leader could come to you today, Mr. Brennan, and say, hey, I need you to sit out this boxing this New Year's Day.
Oh, no, sir. Let me tell you. Just a matter of fact,
that's Cooper to do it.
Hey.
He would come to you and tell you that.
Gus Cooper was special and rare. No,
right? I said a leader. I said a leader.
Hold on. Listen to me. Hold on now.
He's dancing around these things.
No, we ain't dancing around.
I also think that Jackson Burnside would have come to you and say, Mr.
Time out. Particularly if it's a competitive parade. Now, you still looking at this thing from a point of view of saying to try to control the size. I all for that crowd and size control, you know. But that is a very difficult, fickle thing. That ain't as easy as we're talking about.
It's not that difficult. No, but just how we allow wheels to be on our costumes on the parade, we could always say we have a
brother. Listen to me.
We have a cap. We have a minimum cap. Why can't we have a maximum cap?
Shaman.
We all know that the best parades are usually the smaller compact groups as opposed to
New Year's is always the best parade.
Shaman. Hey, Shaman.
Let me enter. Brandon and Papa, let me interject on. Let me interject on that for a minute. Let me interject on what John talking about for a minute.
Go ahead.
I want to start talk at the same time.
Brandon.
Go ahead.
The problem is not the amount of persons.
Jonah, go ahead and undo your video.
It's how those persons get to that parade. Our preparation is how we prepare for to get to the parade. Let me tell you something here. Junkanoo needs to hurry up and wake up. We're not training anybody anymore. We're not training anybody properly anymore. And the problem is, like I said, builders are very limited. We are not grooming builders anymore. If you want 500 people to show up on a parade, you need at least 25 to 30 builders. You can't have 10 builders billing for 500 people. It's difficult. It's very difficult. So we have to put systems in place to make sure things work. More people coming in, but people who training and teaching is left. That's why you see all the cloth, you see all these other things happening. We are not training anymore. That's one of our problems. Another problem, Junkanoo has, the tradition and evolution fighting against one another. People, you have a crew of Junkanooers who trying to keep the tradition. You have a crew of Junkanooers who trying to get it to evolve. That's why we stay in it. You get my point, right?
Yeah. Go ahead, Gino.
We need to understand what's happening. You don't have an investment board. Junkanoo doesn't have an investment board to go out and ask people to invest into Junkanoo. So
you look good.
And we looking for money. We need money, but we don't have things in place.
But what are we presenting to?
We have probably someone. We have somebody in charge of finance, making the same sponsors over and around with every single group. Finance person probably getting all the same sponsors, with all the same sports people in the farmers getting to, with all everybody getting the same people over and over. We need to start look. We have to look for all.
But you said the keyword. But you said in there
international market.
You said invest. Invest. There's a difference between sponsoring and investing in something.
There's GoFundMe. That's what I'm trying to say. Junkanoo does not have a plan for 20 years. So you can't invest in Junkanoo because it doesn't plan to make it money. It doesn't.
Last major investment.
You understand?
That's right. That's the
Blackwell was last one.
Oh, so 25 years ago? 20 years ago?
20, 25 years ago. Yeah, Chris.
You know, let me ask you this quick question. Nowadays we have actual not Junkanoo company. We have companies developed by builders to build for any particular group. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, I think it's a contract builder.
My thoughts on that.
Timmy, what are your thoughts on that?
Listen.
Do you think you'll get the same 100% if he's in the group?
Let me let Gino answer that first because you asked him first.
Okay.
Go Bob.
Let me speak on that. I fought myself into a few organizations trying to bring it to standard, trying to get everybody on one accord, trying to create some new concepts, ideas on how to improve. But you know what I faced with? I was faced with a lot.
Who's a warrior today?
Where? Harbor Island.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's the Zulu Warriors.
No. That's the Battlefield Warrior.
Don't worry, that's still a warrior on it. Don't worry about that.
So I just get to zone him in a minute.
Well, what I'm saying is, right? What I'm saying is, I applaud all these companies for coming up here. I applaud all of them because they take in their talents and they find a way to create revenue for themselves. I fought years in Junkanoo. You know what I mean? I made some money, but I think all Junkanoos can make money. I think all of us can make money. I think the whole system can make money, just like Carnival is. But the problem is, like I said, you have the traditionalists and the evolution people at war, and one side keeping it to be tradition. I think the two could coincide. Let me tell you something. You could keep the Boxing Day and New Year's Day parades. You could create a revenue parade separate and apart from the traditional parades. You understand what I'm saying? And the two could coincide. Junkanoo has to find a way to make money. I've drawn up a Soma Dome, if you know that. I have a drawing, almost completed, where that format could work, where you have a museum, you have an amphitheater, you have shops, you have bars and restaurants.
It's an entire village, eh?
All sorts of things,
Right.
but it's an entire village, an entire Bahamian cultural village. We need to start thinking of ways to make Junkanoo make some money. We have to. The government was trying to get us to do that, but we fight amongst ourselves and still ain't get it.
I think the problem with
I
the
don't
government,
understand why is it that.
I think the problem with the government initiative was the timing. They tried to push that 12 days of Christmas, 12 days before the actual Boxing Day parade.
I don't see a problem in that, though.
Pardon me?
I don't see a problem in that.
But the average Junkanoo don't see a problem in that because they think they can be locked up in the shack 12 days before the parade.
And that's where planning needs to happen.
I just want to say planning.
When you plan better, your results will be better. That means you're going into the shack in October. You're making sure you're in the shack by June the latest. Because you have a production.
Timmy, you know how we go. You can build a costume in January and the fella ain't gonna start pacing that really until December.
But that's on him.
True.
But if my group don't come to the board,
We can't do it. We can't dwell on what already took place. You know, those things already took place. They already happened.
Very true. Very true. Very true.
The problem is we ain't moving.
Very true.
We're not moving. We're not moving at all.
What would you suggest be the best time for a festival, a Junkanoo festival? We already have a summer one. We know what the summer festival.
I think around the same time we start the summer festival.
Yeah.
A summer festival. I think around the same time, and we need to set great part from Boxing Day and New Year's Day, where we invite tourists, we invite the international community, we invite investors, we invite all sorts of people to see what we're doing, and we need to have a plan in place where a comprehensive plan where everybody look at this plan and say, this is the plan for the next 20 years. And then you do 5 years, every 5 years, you will be here. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But if we just keep rambling, but what needs to happen, make it happen. Make it happen. That's why I move away from groups.
Let me tell you all something.
That's why I move away from the groups.
I know Ming here. Ming could
go ahead, Jamie.
Ming could tell you, we in the studio at the Base Hub, we put out something where we invited all the Junkanoos to come in, record their CD for free. Okay? To be able to make CDs, to make revenue for their group. Ain't nobody reach yet. I think the Valley Boys did one long time and one family did one, and we're still trying to put them together to come in to make the CDs to make revenue. Everybody will know how much they're getting before they come in to get the CD to make the money.
So Charmaine, on that note, what do you think about all this copyright was going on, because I find a lot of vendors make money off Junkanoo. A lot of vendors make free money off Junkanoo.
Of course.
Something needs to be done.
Everybody is making money off.
You know what it boils down to?
Everybody else is making money off Junkanoo besides Junkanoo.
You know why? Because
a lot of people making money off Junkanoo besides Junkanoo.
Because we're too lazy. We're too lazy. Let me give you a case in point, Gino. Right now, everybody getting these masks, right? You don't think people be interested in getting a Valley Boy or Saxon or One Family mask?
Say it again.
Hello?
Papa, let me tell you something.
I just thrown it out there now. I wish I had the rights to them groups. I'd have had them on the long time.
I wish Anthony because Anthony was stitching some jackets, right? He was just doing something to present so they could get these jackets. Nice jackets. He lived right around the corner from me. And that a whole conversation on Facebook.
No. Shaman. Hold on, Shaman.
Nobody inbox him.
Shaman. Let me interject with that. Because the same way how he was just having fun, let him go have fun with a Collect logo. Let him go have fun with a Nike logo.
I never said he was having fun.
No. See, there was only questions asked on that post, Have you gotten permission? That was just one question.
My question is this: his name, his number, and everything was there.
No. See, hold on, time out. Ain't nobody calling nobody. You put something out there that belongs to somebody else. The only question that was asked to the young man was, did you get permission? That's the only. All that making noise and make no sense, He ain't answered the question yet.
He didn't say nothing. He didn't say anything.
So hold on.
Inbox him.
So the next time he go do something like that, let him go use something that he has control over, he owns. You can't experiment with people's logo. You can't do that. No.
You shouldn't do it.
Lubas.
You can't do that.
One quick question. I hear the arguments on both sides, right? But let me ask you from a legal point of view. Is
paparazzi? Hold on, paparazzi, man. Listen. Legal or not?
Is the logo copywritten?
The Valley Boys logo is copywritten.
It's trademarked. I'm only asking questions.
Paparazzi, you asking me questions to get what kind of answers, because wrong is still wrong and right is still right.
No.
The
reason I'm asking you that is because we're talking about doing things right and moving forward.
That's what I'm
saying.
Listen to me.
If it isn't copyrighted,
hold on, time out. I don't think no Junkanoo organization, particularly the 8 groups, don't have their work or their stuff, the intellectual property covered.
They need to do that then.
No.
Because he is a part of a group. He is a part of a group.
Which groups don't have their stuff?
He's a part of a group.
You will be surprised to know that there are some groups that doesn't have
No.
documented as a trade name.
The same way how we discussing it, because in some cases we don't have the authentic information as relates to if it is so or if it's not. You don't go out there using people's stuff without their permission. On that note, time out. I ain't getting into all of that with that. That's just okay. That's just it with that. With a young man.
All right, Bubas, I
hear you. Would you get permission?
What you think about Collect? You think they get permission for it?
Huh?
Does the Collect get permission for it?
No, Collect does get permission.
No, let me tell you something.
God, listen to me. Before Collect do anything, I can tell you, before Collect do anything, they have conversations with each group head. I can tell you that.
I can tell you that.
I can tell you that. I ain't asking. I ain't asking you that.
That just got their name trademark as of last year, December, okay? So I know that's not correct.
Yeah, but that doesn't give no one the right to go there and use something that's yours.
Okay? All we saying though, there's a way to protect yourself, protect yourself. That's all we saying. Go there and
protect yourself.
And then this conversation will be null and void.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because once you put something on the internet, and someone grab that and use that, how can you get reimbursed for that? You can sue them?
Y'all taking this thing to a whole different entire level from
No,
what
we
I'm
being
saying.
responsible. We saying
No. Hold on.
Group member. What if you, him, knowing his trade, and say, you know what? I want to be a little different, because you know that's the essence of Junkanoo. We want to be different from everyone else.
Right.
I never see no volley jacket. Wait, don't me one volley jacket.
Don't me one volley jacket?
Timmy.
Let me finish. Yeah, go ahead.
How is he now in the wrong? Because you contracted him to go out and do the work, because you're a volley boy. You're doing it for profit. Because this is where copyright infringement becomes a problem, when you're doing it for profit. Now, what if you went to him, contracted him to do this logo on this jacket that no one else has, but then someone else takes offense to it?
All right. If you're going to use me to say go to him to do something like that, then you're using the wrong person, because before I do anything that use any other name, whether copywritten or not, particularly the Valley Boys content and intellectual property, I ask permission.
Yeah, that's you.
But that's you.
Okay.
That's right.
What about the co-founder from way back when, who feels he has the right to anything Valley Boys? I just using you.
My brother, there it is again. You could use me, but that be using the wrong example, because I can't answer you on it with it. I ain't answer you on it with it. Yeah.
Let me interject again.
I said that, Boobas, to say
Fred,
all those, I see
no Junkanoo member has a legal document with any group. No members.
That's right.
No member has a legal contract with any group. No member. They are just that, a member. You understand? Now, when you start making this thing legal, you enter in legal umbrellas with drummers, with choreograph, etc. There's nothing, ain't much but Junkanoo legal. That's why it get bounced around. Talk there and there. You know what I mean? Because there's not much legal framework around Junkanoo.
There it is again.
That legal framework.
The conversation on this, particularly if legal or not legal, or copywritten or not copywritten, we having this conversation, and we don't have all the facts if it's not. So we having a conversation about if it ain't legal or if it's legal. We could have this conversation if we have the information.
An open conversation that certain things that need to be put in place.
I saw a lot of people with the hand bands, you know, the thing you put on your hands to rush, the headband, all kinds of different things.
See, if we could look to move forward, and I'm glad we're having this part of the conversation now here too. If we can look forward to move forward, I think it's time we start to encourage all Junkanoo groups, if they don't have it, to be able to do so, because here it is again. We are at the point now where we have to be able to repackage Junkanoo for the future moving forward. You can't just...
How do you do that when Junkanoo is considered himself non-profit? How you go from non-profit to now saying I can't use your logo for profit?
Timmy, all that fit under the umbrella of me saying we have to repackage ourselves. All that is in the repackaging thing.
Timmy, all non-profit organizations, they are incorporated, so they are legally binding. All must be that in order to be recognized by the government, or in order to get anything from the government.
Right.
They all must be. That's a must. I can tell you that that's a must.
And
now,
even
I encourage, like you said, Bobo, whatever. Boobas. I encourage all those Junkanoo groups. Now is the time to put in place these procedures and guidelines for its members. And once you sign up as a member, those things supposed to be declared in your membership.
Hold on. You all realize
not to do.
You all realize all Junkanoo groups have a tent number?
Yeah.
No, I know. I did it for them last year.
Let me interject here. Let me say something here. I've been listening for a minute. Let me say something.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Hold on. Go ahead, man.
So one of the things. So one of the things that we all missing is, when we came to this conversation, is all about how we can move forward
Forward.
The junk. Yeah, that's how we can move forward.
Right.
Clarice said on it, Boba said on it, a few persons said on it. There's no real structure. Getting incorporated and having members even coming up to say we can invest in an organization. We never have that conversation. We have a lot of persons that enter into the Junkanoo groups. They dedicate all their time, their effort, and all the stuff to the Junkanoo group. And at the flip of a switch, someone could say you're not a part of this group anymore. All your blood, sweat, and tears go to waste.
Exactly.
There's no legislation or no bylaws or anything to say, okay, if you are put out of the group or be decided you no longer a part of the organization, what is there to protect the Junkanoo to say, okay,
Yes, exactly.
well, you've been here for 20 years, and we're now gonna say, okay, here's what your time is worth. I know guys they spend up to $15,000 on a costume, and tomorrow and they could leave the group the following year and get nothing back.
Yep.
Right.
All of that money, time, and effort has gone to waste. I could use paparazzi as a thing. He's been taking photos for how many years?
30
Persons
years.
literally would go to his website, take his photos, use it, do whatever they want to do with
Yeah.
it, and with his watermark in it.
Watermark.
See, and that's what I'm saying. And the same thing I'm saying, because now paparazzi allow it because he haven't done.
It isn't that he allows it, It is. Say, here's the thing. So now, if he now goes after, let's say you go and you download his photo because you like how his photo, you go download his photo, and he now wants to take you to court. He now has to go find money to go pay a lawyer to go to court.
But this is the things that come with this. Go ahead.
But what organization or what legislation or what body is gonna fight for him to say, okay, you use this property? If he feels that his property is worth $1 million, who's gonna pay him?
That's why we need the commission. That's why we need that Junkanoo commission.
The same thing applies because all of us are kind people because we love it, we do it, and we just wanted to get out there. And I think that's what all of us do. So even with Junkanoo, we share this thing together, right? And there's nothing wrong with doing things. But you know what I would do? If I were to take anyone of paparazzi's picture, or respect or not, whether I felt his property is protected under copyright or not, I would call him and I would ask him.
One out of 10,000 though.
Yeah,
I'm literally seeing somebody produce a T-shirt with the image that I took with my watermark run straight across the shirt. Come shake my hand in the shirt and say what's happening, man. Everything cool? All right then.
Cool.
But there it is again, and this is why even with that's why we have to be able to say, you know what? No man, that's wrong. You ask paparazzi to do that, and because we don't do that, sometimes we think people who are not as honest and as asking as people like us will just go and do things as they want because ain't nobody coming and asking them what is this or what you doing.
But Bugas, there must be some stand, and I agree with what Jason said. We have to have a structure. There must be some things in place, like I alluded to earlier. When the minister said the Junkanoo group, even the people who just carrying the pieces have to have a TIN number, that was like a crazy thing. They doing crazy, whatever. And I'm like, hold on now. This is only for your good. In the end, it is only good for the individual group. I mean, the individual person and the group good. It is not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
If we start to do those things, implement certain things, may not happen, everything may not happen overnight or whatever. But there's some things that needs to be implemented. Like I said, we first need to change the mindset of people if we want to change anything in Junkanoo. Like what you said, evolution. The evolution is a change thing, and the change must start with the individual, start with the person himself. Hold on now. Okay, the girls, let's use the choreograph section. We give them a leeway to have about, say, 30 to 60 girls. Those membership must be signed and forward to whatever board or whatever, and then they present it to whoever the leaders are, okay? If we began to implement all those things, then we will be able to have a structure of how many persons are dancing, how many persons are in the brass, how many persons are in choreograph. Not, I come in to join. No. There must be a standard straight across the board. Straight up, because we will have no structure. Oh, I come in because another person and this, that, and next, and I come in because I come from the valley and I wanna dance. And no. Like me say, there has to be some criteria. There's no criteria.
There is criteria.
Hey, Boomers, good question.
There is, yeah.
How does one join the Valley Boys? How does someone join the Valley Boys?
How does one join the Valley? Well, I'll tell you how it is now. And we are doing our endeavor best to continue to bring regulations to each section. So we have each sections in the Valley Boys has section coordinators, right? Each section coordinators are responsible, of course, to manage the operation and the flow of their sections and make sure things run right. And if there's any concerns or recommendations they have for the section, that they're able to make those changes with the communication to the executive management board, right? So if a person wants to join the Valley Boys through either of those sections, the conversation is have with the section coordinator, section leader. The section leader speaks to the chairman or some other executive management official and let them know the intention of this person want to be able to join. And then what they will do is they would be given the green light. Okay, this is something that you want. You get on it. Okay, good. Some sections, most sections do it now from what I know, have a little application in which get some information from you and ask you, why you leave the group. And we do some background checks, believe it or not, where we call persons who we know inside the group that the person is coming from and say, hey, what's happening with so-and-so? We have them here and they want to be able to join the group. And then we'll be given some information in regards to that.
Listen, I don't know if you're reading what was being said, and I know someone said that there's a Chinese person who was doing Junkanoo stuff and selling it in the hotel, and according to IQ, she's saying that he had no permission. How is this happening?
Well, I have no knowledge. I have no knowledge about that.
We have again. This goes back to what I was saying earlier. We in the Junkanoo community, there's no rules or regulation. Let me bring a point that everybody can understand. When we decide upon a theme, let's say Disney for whatever, we do all the characters from Disney. We do play all the Disney music, but we don't get permission to use their anything, none of their intellectual property. Right. We play all their music, we all them stuff, and this is something that we are trying to push to the world. So now we produce all these costumes, the Mickey, the Minnies, the Donald Duck, the Goofies, all that stuff. We do all that stuff, and then we bring all the music. And I have heard person say, "Oh yeah, but that's public, so we ain't doing it for money." But you training the young person say, "Okay, yeah, it's okay for us to use the likeness of someone else's intellectual property," but now we want to talk about protecting on our own thing. Come on, you got to pick which way you gonna do. You got to do it right, or you got to do it, because if we start doing all the copywriting, you, like we said earlier, you're talking about someone taking your logo and using it on a jacket. Isn't that the same thing? Are you not taking someone else's intellectual property?
We're not
Disney.
Understand what
I'm saying?
Disney could come. Hey, if Disney want to put pressure, they could come and say, "Listen to me. Why are you all using our stuff?" Not because they are not coming and saying it, that means that they cannot come and say it,
No, but my message is.
We doing it though.
We are doing it. We are pirate. For instance, all of the groups they say, okay, one family use games. They use all of the trademark logos, characters on us up. Who did they get permission from to use those things?
Well, if
someone came and they took a photo, and if someone came and took a photo and they said, "Wow, I want to take this photo now and make this $1 million photo," who is the rightful owner of that photo? The photographer, the person that owns the intellectual property of that thing. See, these are the things this is perspective, and these are the things that we don't think about. If you're gonna do it right, do it right.
I could guarantee you one thing. That photo that person took, that tourist took with that intellectual property of Disney, let's say it was Mickey or Minnie, and that person went on to sell that picture somewhere in Europe for $1 million. I'll tell you something. Disney will be on that pass.
Yeah.
All right. Pass, quick
yeah,
pass.
but all I'm saying is every group, like we said earlier, every group should have been incorporated. Every group should have their legal representation. Every group should seek to create. And we are some of the most creative people I know.
But
you understand? Every group should have that structure where we should have our own videographers, we have our own photographers. This mess would be going on Bay Street where group pushing photographers out of the way and telling photographers you gotta move, they telling videographers to move. That is ridiculous nonsense. Because if the photographers and the videographers don't capture the parade, you would have nothing documented besides what? ZNS? Come on. Really? We in an age now. Hold on a second. We in an age now where we have all of the technology afforded us that we could be doing live stream, proper broadcast from the gate straight around the Shirley Street, straight back. We don't have proper. Everyone stop with the music. Everyone stop with that. You understand?
Let me get in there to share some light.
Okay. Hold on a second. I gotta let you share some light. I gotta let you share some light. You know, this is just, I look at a lot of things. I walk the strip on Bay Street and I look at a lot of the things. Because we so comfortable with mediocrity, we let some things slip through the crack, and then some things be like, oh yeah, we could be dead strict with that. That thing, you know, I was on Bay Street one year, and then the police say, you know what, time for us to go home. And they don't care who Junkanoo was on the road, they form their line, and there's like, but y'all got to be done with that. But who this parade for? The people? You understand what I'm saying? Who's the boss?
They lock up that parade.
There's a way to protect yourself.
And it's just a lot of things that we just need to take the time to fix and put the letter to get out. And guess what? They ain't gonna put no legislation for us, you know. That it ain't important to them. We have to put together and sit down and say what it is that we want to do first. Put our black and white together first. We have this thing where we waiting for the government to come do this thing.
No,
the government is not going to do it.
You want to be independent.
As a body, you got to do that yourself. And each organization need to structure themselves first. And if they don't have a clue how to structure themselves and do that, then we as people need to sit down and say, listen, this is the form that we got to go. We're going to incorporate. Yes. We got to make sure that each group has their own media team, their photographer, their videographer. Make sure that each group have their own, straight across the board, lawyers, everything. Yeah. And make sure and guess what? We could have jobs, thousands of jobs created because now we have a proper structure where we can now say, you know what? We want to go to get, like you said earlier, private investors. We don't want no sponsor. We want private investors. We got the persons who willing to give millions of dollars to this thing. If you say, listen,
and invest.
Yes.
Correct. Thanks. And now you could employ thousands of persons.
Let me get in there.
Go ahead.
One of the first things that we need to get sorted, first things we need to get sorted. Junkanoo needs to sort out its professionalism. Let me tell you why. Yeah, let me tell you why. No company will hire you at $30,000 a year if you are not certified. None. Junkanoo does not have no certification whatsoever. All we have is we have professional people who are certified in Junkanoo, but Junkanoo itself does not have no certification. So I can't say who is a certified Bella. I know he's a Bella in Junkanoo, but can he prove that? Can he prove that internationally anywhere to say he's a certified musician?
You know, that goes back to what Ning saying, you know.
Hey, I could prove I got a certificate to be a certified judge, but they throw me out.
But, you know, that goes back to what Ning was saying. Like, we got to organize ourselves. And in organizing ourselves, we need to understand our way forward. So all those things, when you talk about getting a group organized, you're talking about having certain things like just basic Junkanoo. You look at the downfall. We don't have medical teams. We have marshals, but does the marshal know how to get?
I agree with everything. I agree with everything being said. I agree with everything being said.
You know, who do we have?
Everything Meng said, I agree with. But like I say, go ahead, Timmy.
I look at, you know, Jill, you know where I go with this.
Go ahead, Timmy.
You know where I go with this. Papa, you know where I go with this. Carnival. We might not like it. We might not like it. But Carnival came here and showed us how we should organize ourselves as Junkanoo. They've been able to do in 5 years what Junkanoo hasn't been able to do in 60 or 70 years, which was organize themselves, get corporate Bahamas not to sponsor, but to invest into them. Why? Because initially the plan was set forth from the government level and then straight down to the group level. You had to, in year one, show your plan, show your business plan, and present certain things to even qualify to have a band. Me today could come back upset from Harbor Island and say, you know what? I can start my own group. All I have to have is the numbers and make it and put the DCMC in enough time, the proper funding, and I straighten the B category, which is a cool 7,500 each month and 15,000 each year. Now I have to show up on Bay Street. I only have to spend 2,000. How can I go there and you could disqualify me? I have to present myself once to prove that I'm a B category. After that, I got a cool thing easy. I could put on that I am, in layman's terms, set for a lifetime. But what does that do to us? Where does that get us? When Carnival is showing us, put your business model out there. Show us what you are. Open your books to everyone. The way forward. Carnival is showing us, listen, in Junkanoo we have leaks every year. And we get upset, oh, this one's showing my customs, whatever. And then we go right back to the same foolishness every year. Why not use the Carnival way and say, you know what? Instead of waiting on some food in my own group to get friendly and show my customs, why not have costume launches, theme launches, group launches?
To me, my thing is, I think, like I said, there's two bodies that play. You have the traditional Junkanoo, and then you have the evolution Junkanoo.
Right.
I think the tradition needs to remain on Bay Street Boxing. Yes. I think there needs to be a separate parade for the advancement and for Junkanooers to make money. Now, that could be in the summer whenever we plan that. Those traditional parades, we could keep those. You understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of people do not want to move those traditional parades. But there needs to be a parade and make money.
I'm not even talking about parades. I look at it this way. No one parties more than the Junkanoo. Nobody in this country parties more than the Junkanoo. Why not make money off your parties? The greatest disadvantage we have is that the masses think that Junkanoo is not inclusive, which means I gotta know someone to get into a group, which is our greatest hindrance. So why I'm telling my daddy, who I know own the $1 million corporation, who wants to support you, when I gotta beg you, who want 2 nickels to rub together to get into the group. That doesn't make sense. How I want an investor to come in when the investor probably begged to get into the very group you want him to invest in. Like, we need to open our minds to certain things. We gotta open up to changing the way we do things. Carnival came here, Carnival came here and showed us the way.
Big time.
Showed us the way, and we so territorial that we ain't pick up on that.
Just like you.
When the Valley and the Saxons staying together, hold on, let me say this last part.
Only 2 Carnival groups making it. Only 2 Carnival groups making it.
How many Junkanoo groups making it, though?
I understand that.
Making it?
I understand that. But then, listen, look back to when the Valley starts to clash
What
at
is
the
the
time.
government going to make it up?
That's the kid. That's the kid of fish. That's another one. Listen to what I say. When the Valley starts 15 years ago to have Clash of the Titans, that was the most successful, unsponsored by the government event. All
I agree.
birds out.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
I agree, Timmy.
So
Scared
what
money
happened?
don't make no money. Literally scared money don't make no money. We
What
have
happened to me? What happened to that to me? Because I could tell you because I was actually present at all of the planning meetings, right? And one thing I told the persons that were there, right? I say, we need to structure this as a complete business structure with all those things in place, understandings from a contractual agreement, accounting practices, etc. You know what I was told? Oh no, man, it ain't gonna get that like that. That's what I was told. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So
You gotta go to Burns House.
Not only that, Timmy.
Timmy,
When they used to have Saxorama, that used to be good.
I don't even go back that far.
Okay, but I'm just saying that was something people used to look forward to.
Yeah.
So, Sanibel in October.
And then we used to have Sanibel in October.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I said earlier, Junkanoo have become lazy.
Right,
We don't have no
got the
fundraisers
for the
for
government.
ourselves anymore.
Right, we got
We want sponsor to give us everything.
See, I don't know if Junkanoo has become lazy because Junkanoo are some of the most hardworking set of people I know. I just feel like anything that needs I wouldn't say change because change is a very dangerous word in some cases.
It's inevitable.
No. I don't want to use the word change. I want to substitute it for another word, right? But let me just use it for sake of using it for what it is. We are not changing at the pace that we need to change, the times that we need to change in. There are a lot of people in certain positions that are holding it up. A lot. You hear me? Ain't no more dancing around that because that's why I say Junkanoo was not easy. If we tell them this is what we're doing, and all of us binding hands together and say, you know what, we're in this together, I think we'll see some good and wonderful results.
You know, I'd like to say, I was having a conversation a few days ago, and one of the things that I said was, if every Junkanoo group gets incorporated, because one of the things that investors, and I just had a very open conversation with an investor who, they got money. They ain't got no play money. And one of the things that they said is, if you think small-mindedly, they're not going to be interested.
Small things.
Exactly,
that's right.
exactly.
They have the investors look at money, like to them, millions of dollars is like a dollar.
Yeah.
If they look at whatever project, if you go to them and say, man, we just need $100,000 to get our group to the road, they're like, okay, so if I give you $100,000, chances are, even if you give me back my investment 150%, that's still only $150,000. What it costs for them to move that money ain't worth it.
So they'd rather not invest.
They always say if you come to them with an idea, your idea gotta make sense and it gotta make big sense. Or I should say big dollars. And that's just the way they think. So if you go to an investor, you gotta be talking, listen man, in 5 years, I could be giving you back $5 million return on interest.
Yeah.
And guess what? We as Junkanoo, and like I said, I just had this conversation with someone the other day. Are these costumes some of the costumes we doing? Even if you said to these persons, listen, man, we could take this costume and we could sell us as a piece of art for $250,000. People will buy it.
Exactly.
So your persons that who would want to have, just how they have life-size statues in their house, why they can't have a life-size costume inside their house?
Authentic, don't get over.
Because that's an authentic piece of art. Ain't nobody can recreate whatever. And some of the costumes that persons present is a one-of-a-kind costume. Even if you do identical costumes, when different persons put their print on it or put what they see on it, that's a one-of-a-kind costume. Look at the festival Angelica the other day when she was selling the costumes. Hey, That was the first thing that persons came in and said, you know what? These costumes are one of a kind, not duplicates. You cannot duplicate a costume because that is a piece of art that someone, they look at it and they say, you know what? I see the way that this costume needs to be presented as one of a kind. But we so busy trying to pull each other down and saying, you know what? But you won't make no sense. What you doing, that's a bunch of garbage. And when you really look at it, you know, persons that come from outside the country and they be like, wow, that's a piece of art. How much you want for that? I give you $1 million for that. You mean for this? This only card? No. Think of a painting. The painting is only paint, a piece of canvas, and someone's intellectual property. They saw a vision to paint, to use the paint, and they created something with that.
Yeah. That's true.
When the photographer takes a photo, that's his work of art because only him could see what he wants to see. You understand? Same thing with a producer. When a producer goes inside the studio, it's just. I always use this analogy. You could give a bunch of persons the same ingredients, but we all come up with different results.
That's true.
Individualism, your creativity, and your intellectual property. So when are we gonna wake up as Junkanoo or whatever you want to use? When are we gonna wake up and work together? Bay Street is only one part of it, and guess what? And I always use the thing. Not as much people participate in Junkanoo as we think.
Exactly.
Or
like
even
10% of the population.
Call the numbers. You know the percentage, man.
Literally like 10% of the population. Yeah. Not even the population, not all.
I think it's less than 10% because I seriously believe that with all the persons on Bay Street, inclusive of the spectators, inclusive of the work staff that do it, I seriously believe it's still less than like 50,000 people.
Listen. Bay Street is up about 15,000 people, if that. That's Junkanooers and people who watch the parade.
So if you have about 15,000 persons, and then you have a lot of persons who because when you really think about it, you have one crew that goes to Boxing Day, and then you have one crew go for New Year's. There are very few persons that do both parades because they either putting all their money in Boxing Day or they putting all their money in New Year's. It's very and that's just a harsh reality.
Listen, if Junkanoo could see 50,000 people, 50,000 people could show up to Junkanoo at one particular parade.
We need a venue for that first.
The amount of money you will generate just from that alone will blow your mind.
I think that comes in marketing though. Marketing plays a major part in how we present Junkanoo. And I think for the last couple of years, we kill it. There's a lot of things that kill the enthusiasm and, Junkanoo really can draw a crowd. Like you say, even if it's 20-something thousand, Junkanoo can. But our marketing and the way we present, I mean, one year it was good, then the next year it becomes so flat and this and that. People become so, like, what is this?
Irritated by it.
Is Junkanoo marketed at all?
At all.
I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Who does marketing?
Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have 20,000 hotel rooms in Bahamas.
But the heads and
but we're talking about the population itself too now, because we have that's our culture and people are into this. People love it. People love Junkanoo, whatever you want to say.
Something's wrong, no, Clarice. They love it, but they don't love it enough to come out and spectate.
That's what I say. Something is wrong, right? When it comes to marketing or whatever it is, there is a lack thereof somewhere.
The lack thereof is this entitlement thing that we have as Junkanooers. Like for
said Ming.
We so tribal. We don't want Bahamians to partake in Junkanoo.
Exactly.
If you have not grown up inside the community, they look at you as a stranger. You can't go from group to group. Listen,
what you could do. That's what you could do. You want Rush? What you could do?
Timmy Ming, this is why I asked Boobas earlier, how does one join the Valley Boys? Before Genesis came along with their online platform and anybody There was nothing to make Junkanoo easy. Everything is difficult. You got to come by practice, and I got to go talk to Boobas in the Bella line. Who's Boobas? I don't know who Boobas is. If I was an average Joe off the road who want to join a particular group, I have no avenue to join no group.
See, there it is. There it is. We have a unique product called Junkanoo, right? Junkanoo has its uniqueness, its unique practices, its unique everything. And I get with everybody. Hold on. Let me finish this. Everything has its unique way, and believe it or not, it's thrived and it was successful up to this point. And now, for all those years, don't care. Hold on, let me finish, paparazzi. Let me finish. Okay. There's a delay. Whatever was so strong and still strong now in Junkanoo. Don't care how we did it. Yeah, we know we got to fix some areas with it, but I don't want any of you to think for 1 minute that the uniqueness about it and how one person has to talk to another person and say, "Oh, are you enjoying the Bella line? Oh, go talk to Gino. Oh, you want Bill? Listen, we'll link up with Gino. Gino's a good builder." That's still a personable. Relationship building kind of thing too. While we looking to advance this, hold on. While we looking to advance this into the future, there are some things unique about us and our culture, how we talk, how we walk, how we row, how we get upset of one another. Listen, believe it or not, the world wants to see and experience this authentic product. There's some good authenticness about what we have. We have some broken things that may be like, well, there should be something online that you should, make you able to sign up online to be a member. Yeah, we can have that too. But there's also that touch.
We still have to change our mindset of how we think about Junkanoo. I say that to say this. When involved with the parade management team in terms of choosing persons to rush a parade with it, it's still too much clicks. It's still too much, oh, I don't like you because you were such and I don't like that person. We just have to rise above our pattern of thinking if we want to get this. Because when we think about Junkanoo, we only think the Bahamas. We don't think internationally. We don't think how our decisions will affect the international world. I know one time I put all of the judges' application on the table, and we had it set up where a person's supposed to come in and you're supposed to vet somebody, right? The person was vetting somebody because they don't like their boyfriend or they get last week. All these, you understand what I'm saying? We just have to change the mindset of thinking. Even there's too much clicks in Junkanoo. Papa, we speak to this. When we were doing the flyer for Junka Party, when we were trying to get out of the ground, I put one particular person on it. I just pull a picture up, not thinking that. I thought all kinds of things. One said they ain't coming because they don't like that person on the flyer and that person do something wrong. All kinds of things. And put another, that group, child, they don't do this and they don't do that. I can't. You understand?
Petty.
Me and Megan a group together. Hold on. Me and Megan a group together. WhatsApp group. And there was a recent Junkanoo survey done. And I put it in the group. Megan asked me the question.
What's that? Huh?
Megan asked me the question about the survey.
Right.
So my words to Megan was, I will not say the name of the person who did the survey because I know how we think of Junkanoo.
Right.
Who is you here? Who is doing the survey?
I gotta go, ladies and gentlemen.
Who is doing the survey? Right. Now your mind changes towards the survey.
Yes, I saw the survey. I saw a survey.
Right. That's the survey. So I said,
and so because the person behind the survey, nobody answered the survey.
I said to him, just one of you go just do this Junkanoo survey. Do it if you want to do it. Do it if you don't want to do it. But I won't say who did the survey because that solely is the survey because it's a personal thing because what people have heard and without experiencing, they have heard, well, oh, this person is doing this, oh, this person is doing that. I realized that my Junkanoo We are our own worst enemy.
Yes, we are.
We won't go on a trip because who has the trip?
Yeah.
Because it fails, we're gonna lose this. When I look at it this way, who is going to buy your $500-$600 ticket? Because if you were, you didn't been there. So the opportunity to advance the culture to every island. I don't see much Nassau-centric Junkanoo taking the jump to go to San Salvador, to go to Inagua, to go to Auckland and Cook Island, Niagara Island. We don't tour the Bahamas unless we paid for it. So how do we expect this thing to be passed on? The best marketing scheme is word of mouth. And if we are the professionals in the Providence, why aren't we freely giving up these workshops to those that But we expect everyone to come on this bandwagon and deal with us. Carnival has its brand worldwide. From the biggest brand in Brazil to probably us, who's one of the smallest. We're the newest. When are we going to now say we're going to embrace the entire country and impart this knowledge upon every island, rock, and key, able to do what we do? Just how Nassau is in tourism, Nassau alone is in Junkanoo. And some of the most talented, bright minds in Junkanoo out here on these family islands. You will be amazed. But until we embrace the entire archipelago with this thing, it's going to stay stagnant. Investors won't look at us and take us seriously until we embrace everyone in the country as a true Junkanoo.
But the minute you on Harbor Island, right?
Yes, sir.
You know how much millionaires live in Harbor Island alone?
I agree. Let me tell you the millionaires' problem. Our government doesn't have anything set up to what they donate to be a tax right now. These are conversations had with these millionaires.
Trust me,
So
I know a few.
They need to be able to say where it's going, so they can take a 500 or 5,000.
Guess what? And guess what? And this goes back to what I said. See, if you're not, and a lot of persons won't do business with you if you're not properly set up and you're not properly structured. If you're incorporated because they're not gonna do business with a person, they're gonna do business with an entity. Because at the end of the day, they don't want to say, well, I give paparazzi $10 million to go develop paparazzi's brand, and he only is trading ads. He just has a business license and just trading ads.
Incorporated.
So once you are incorporated and you have proper structure, you have a board of directors and all that different stuff, and they can physically see, you know what, I could now take my $10 million or my $20 million, give it to this organization, because now this organization is gonna take the money and is gonna now breed 100 new photographers, event photographers, to now be there for any event that I could, we'll throw a part, a private party, and I could now go to this organization and say, look here, I need 10 event photographers to come to do my event. Yeah. And see, and these are the things. I could go on with ideas all day, but one of the things that I learned is a lot of persons literally, and I am part of a lot of groups, and I sit and watch and listen, and I always listen. In a lot of groups, you have a lot of persons who sit back and they just looking for the next great idea that they could take and go run with. And one of the things you got to learn that if it's something that is your vision, only you could execute your vision. Someone can take your idea, but only you can execute your vision. This thing we keep going. I mean, for years we keep going back and forth. Why Junkanoo can't progress? Why we can't get the money? Why they giving Carnival 9, 10, 11, 12, $20 million and we can't Junkanoo? Because the dudes who at the top of the Junkanoo food chain, they making sure that the rest of the people don't eat.
That's right.
We know this and we know the answers. And the main thing is we have to come together and make this thing happen. It ain't gonna happen happenstance. Ain't nobody giving you nothing. And the minute we gotta come together and start working. And plenty of people on the live feed listening. They know. A lot of persons come up with creative and unique ideas that they know, you know what, this is a multi-million-dollar idea. But you know what? I ain't gonna support him because his idea too good and I gotta figure out a way I got take the idea and I can try and do that myself. We know these things. We ain't a lot of us ain't just come on the scene. We've been watching persons struggle trying to bring their vision to life, and rather than saying, you know what, you need help carrying this light stand, you need help carrying this thing on cardboard, you need help. People literally watch you struggle. They watching you struggle.
Yeah.
And rather than coming and say, you know what, I can help you. If you have something that's your expertise and you know, listen, if you bring my expertise to the table, it can make his job easier. Because if I empower him and he becomes successful, that means he can empower 10 more persons. And those 10 persons that he empower, they can go and empower 10 more persons. And that is the...
You're right.
I literally hear persons, you know what, some people get ahead with a technology, like for instance, Gino now is doing 3D art with Junkanoo. If you follow him, you'll see all the renderings and all that different stuff. How many persons go to him and say, man, look here, I like what you're doing. I would like for you to do some 3D rendering to my group. And guess what? Say to him, what the price is, you could charge me $500. Now you empowering him. He could now grow to the point that he could have 10 persons that he empower and he hire. And now his business starting to grow. And guess what? That helping the whole Junkanoo community, not just him. That helping the community because now he can empower and hire persons. We always talking about, jobs are there because we ain't empowering enough people so people can empower people. Listen, man, I struggled and I ain't ashamed to say that. And guess what? At the end that I struggling because I just don't have the resources. I have the ideas, but just don't have the resources. And when you go to people and say, listen, we could do this thing together. And guess what? I could try as much as I could do within my ability to help other people, you know.
Now, you hit the nail on the head. One thing I told my the Valley costumes for the choreograph section, I thought that was awesome. I thought that was different. I always gave props where props is. I thought that whoever did that, I was very creative in terms of...
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Ming.
Go ahead.
Room, I right where you are. That's why I'm comfortable where I am. Because you have to pass it on. You have to be someone who is selfless. And here in Junkanoo, for the most part, we're a selfish group. It's not like it, but we're a selfish group. We're about the tribalism. We're about the can I get this win? And until we change that mindset, people tap into what we lose it. We lose it based on of you doing this to someone who you go with. How I support you? Because we don't look at it from a business aspect. And investors look at it how you think, strictly business. We've been fortunate in Junkanoo that the government might not have invested the big money. The supporters have invested the big money in Junkanoo with no reward, with no kickback. We have to get to a place to, like I say, I think we all agree that you just have to be smart in our approach to how we market ourselves, put ourselves out there, and how we are inviting people into this thing that we call Junkanoo. For the most part, people don't find it to be an inclusive thing. And until we break off that stigma, we in trouble. Because we have something in the rare called carnival that's very inclusive. All those people who shaking their butts at carnival really would like to shake their butts at Junkanoo. But we don't give them that option. And because that option isn't there, I can do the easier thing. Because at the end of the day, when I spend my $350, $400, $500, $600, $800, when I come for my costume, that there, I get a good time, I go home. When I do Junkanoo, the few that have the option of doing it, when I pay my $350, the dude running me around for weeks talking about the costume and finish. Parade come, and I can't find a dude, well then give my $350 too.
How terrible.
I'm taking this and telling my co-worker, why come do that? I tell her you come do this when you then me. And that's a running joke and joke. Why? Yeah, but we you know why? How you could bring someone with their money? Because the worst publicity is negative publicity.
Man, but you joking? You talking about the 350? You know how many groups get donated? Figures, 5, 6 figures, and the group's still trying to figure out where the money gone.
Man, I can't put this one out to the road. I will private message you. To tell you
no, you don't got a private message because I know. I mean, and I ain't calling no names and I ain't saying nothing. But you know, when you know, these groups.
We call our treasurer. No joke. We put this out there because everybody watching this a lot. We call our treasurer and our chicken bone.
Yeah. Chicken who?
Chicken bone.
Oh.
Captain Bob Charman.
Yeah, I know Bob.
And what happened to him was a travesty. Without saying details, what happened to him was a travesty.
Right.
Heart in the right place. But when you're dealing with people who are about themselves, from this community, from the Junkanoo community, dudes like him, get their head bust wide open to the white meat.
Let me a joke. Timmy and paparazzi could speak to this. You know, when I used to come down there to do the judging for the Harbor Island parades, the reason I came to set it up, but I never really judged because I know so much people in Harbor Island and I know people in both groups. So I brought persons with me to judge the parade. The police had to escort me all around Harbor Island. I eating lunch, people slipping me notes. I go into the hotel or trying to go downtown to buy something, people coming up on the side of me, slipping me notes. And you know, because it's only 2 groups, Zulu, you understand? What's the next group name? What's the next group? Zulu Warriors, what's the next group name?
No, Zulu Dancers and Hilltop Warriors.
Hilltop Warriors. So I eating lunch at Carl Sands. The waiter who's serving me slipping me notes. Now, you understand? And the thing about it, I had to get the commissioner of police after the scores with tally. I didn't announce it. What I did is I wrote down everything. One mistake was made and the sign off to the bottom. I whited out, put my initial on it, sealed it in the box, and I told the commissioner not to announce the results until I didn't get on the boat and leave Harbor Island. Because Harbor Island people take their Junkanoo more serious than Nassau. And another year when I was there, I saw this costume, and of course we know people from Nassau just go to Harbor Island to rush and bring their costume and so forth.
From here.
This particular costume I saw, I had just seen that in a Boxing Day parade that was put on the boat and shipped to Harbor Island. I came down there to do video, to take the show and to stream live. So I said to the person, when I was walking past the costume, I said to the person, I said, this piece, I've seen this piece before. Well, I almost get my head taken off. They know, I don't know what I'm talking, why I talking, they just paste this costume, da 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 da. You know, I went on, I said, listen, I have pictures of this costume. I just take pictures and video of this costume in Nassau. So I don't care what none of y'all telling me, y'all can't convince me different. And I left it at that because they thought I'd come there to judge, but I'd come there to do a live coverage. But that's how serious the island people take. And let me tell you something. The island people, they take more pride in their pasting and stuff, and in terms of it's not over decorated. And they use more of the island product, especially in Lutra, they use coconut and all these other things. Great roof and stuff. They be trying when they do Junkanoo.
Yeah, sons of pride and passion on the island. I just wish we could open our minds to just how Nassau is in tourism. Nassau solely isn't Junkanoo. Until we get there, I think it's a hill. It's a hill you constantly will have to climb. We have to be able to impart the knowledge we have as I call the NBA compared to the CBA. The NBA needs to be able to send people out and develop the craft, the modern craft, amongst the 700 islands, rocks, and keys. If you do it, we in a bad state. You're actually waiting on a certain few. The paparazzi said this Junkanoo was lazy. To get over that laziness, you need to deal with certain people who have the ability and the know-how and to pass it on to other generations. Another generation just staying in that. Being a hard worker, being someone who pushes, is just the Nassau. Some of the best finished costumes we've ever seen has come from Grand Bahama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that
this has been an interesting conversation. We can do this again another day. We done been talking now almost 2 hours, so I would just like
my phone died now.
I would like to thank everybody. Before we leave, we gotta send out happy birthday to Big Punk. Big Punk, Clarice celebrating his birthday today from one family.
All right.
Yeah.
Big fun, yeah.
Fun celebrate. He inboxed me early this morning, say, Shami, today's my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so big fun, big up Sam, and then we just want everybody. I have my Timmy, I don't know if you have your mask, but I have my mask.
Hold on, I got mine. Hold on.
Asking everybody to be safe and practice social distancing, because it's going to be a very long time before we could come in contact with one another. Papa, wear your mask.
Mask here. My mask is specially done by Linda Griffith, the treasurer's wife, and a free dancer in the Hilltop Warriors.
Okay.
I'm waiting to officially get my
by who? Who you got stand by?
Junkanoo mask from anybody who has
Captain Bob's wife.
Okay. Oh, Captain Bob's wife. Okay.
Yeah.
My mask was done by another production. Another production. That's Anthony Hall. He's the Junkanoo.
Yeah, well, Anthony Hall. See, you calling his government name. You know what norm is that? That's Bike Boy. Tony from the Saxon.
Yeah, he's from the Saxon.
Black one.
Right. Of the solar carrier.
Yeah.
He did both. See, not a lot of people know this. Anthony Hall. See, that's his government name. Now you're talking on him. He's Tony, aka Bike Boy.
I'm waiting on my official group masks. I purchased many group. I wouldn't support anybody. This is small things. This is small ways you make money. You look like Anthony Hall or what you call them, Bang Boy, and you get your logo. You carry right back to whoever, get them cut out. Everybody can make some money. But they're just saying this is an opportunity for Junkanooers or Junkanooers, or whatever you want to call you all.
But guess what? We talked about it about 3 weeks ago about him going into the mask, but after he had all that uproar over those jacket issues, he helping other people because that would have been very profitable.
But that's just how we go. We like to get upset with the wrong set of things and put them in the wrong set of perspectives. All we need to have is a conversation.
Yeah.
All that happened was have a conversation with a young man, and we can have a different outcome right now.
Yep, we can have a different outcome.
It's been my pleasure, guys, and I trust that we do it again. And at that point, we have already established some type of template, something in writing to go forward to ensure that the commission and all of the best practices, policies, and procedures all take place.
My cup empty, Papa, but it's a pineapple cup.
Yeah, man. You straight.
So, God, like I think we need to.
That's what I think
we need to continue.
I want a cup right here. And cup.
Yeah, man. I mean, the thing is, consistency is key. I think we need to just continue and just keep. If anybody out there listening live, or you want to be a part of the conversation, contact Charmaine Road. Anybody, Papa, anybody you have contact with, listen, get in contact with them and we can bring you on, have a discussion. I mean, it's going to be an ongoing thing.
Yeah, well, I had enough Junkanoo chats to where I could drop the link. Once Tommy dropped it, I could drop the link.
Yeah.
Yeah, be safe.
All right, Bob
Till
the
next time.
contractor. We can't say Bob the builder no more. We got to say Bob the contractor.
Yeah.
Indeed.